Doing own voice over soft music. What do you mean by the file is missing? He angrily shouted at his employee who was standing in front of him with his head down as not being able to take Jungkook's intense glare. I asked you something, he again shouted, making the employee flinch. Sir, I know, he said with his head still down. Jungkook's cough. You know, then why the you lost the file? He again shouted on him. And so I'm sure the file is somewhere messed up in between other files. Please give me time, I will search for it. He shuddered, being nervous and also trying his best to prove his sincerity by looking at Jungkook's deep red eyes. Jungkook sighed, then why the are you wasting time standing over here? Leave my office and search the file. By tomorrow I need the file on my table before lunch break. Yes sir. Saying this, the employee ran out of the cabin without wasting a single second. Good for nothing, just eating my money. Saying this, he sat back on his chair and was about to take the glass of water to drink, but his eyes fall onto the photo frame on his table, which was of his wife, and unknowingly he smiled, making his all anger flew away, and he kept admiring his wife pic with a small smile. But then soon his smile faded away when he heard the door open and looked towards the door with cold face to see his secretary walking, more like running towards him with a sad, nervous face. Did the shipment of gone well? Do you place all the safe in the godown? Jungkook asked his secretary about the work he has given him, but Sir Alex is told R. He said in fear as Alex is the only enemy of Jungkook, and by hearing the name itself, Jungkook's eyes turned red and his veins started popping up. Today I will him. Saying this, he harshly got up from his chair and took his from the drawer and walked out of the cabin like a fireball, and Mark silently followed him. Finally, all done, she said with a sweet smile, and covered the food which she just cooked for her husband. Now I should take a quick shower before cook comes back, then we will have dinner together. Saying this, she placed her apron aside and walked out of the kitchen to their shared bedroom. Wine walked out of the shower in just Jungkook's t-shirt, and she was about to go to the dressing table to get her skincare, but she halted when she heard a breaking sound from downstairs. Wine frowned. What's that? She asked herself and walked out of the room to downstairs. Jungkook angrily walked into the house, and the very first thing he did was just kicking the tea table, making it broke because he was that much angry. But then he closed his eyes and bit his lip to control his anger when he heard, Cook, what happened? Wine worriedly asked as she noticed Jungkook standing right in front of the broken tea table. Nothing, babe, he said while facing Wine and trying to smile for Wine. But Wine is his wife, so she can clearly see that he is faking his smile. Cook, you don't have to pretend to be okay in front of me. Saying this, she approached Jungkook and cupped his cheeks, making Jungkook's body muscle to relax at her soft touch. You can share it with me. That's it. Jungkook tightly hugged her and Baby, I lost my mission, he said, and hid his face deep inside Wine's neck, who was now numb after hearing Jungkook, because it's the first time Jungkook lost the mission ever since he joined the mafia. Wine took a deep breath, not knowing what to say, so she started cherishing his back to calm him down. Meanwhile, Jungkook was already getting calmed by the fresh fragrance of Wine, so unknowingly he started Wine's back, as right now she felt like he wanted her, because her touch, fragrance, and most important, her being in his arm was making Jungkook forget every problem that happened today, and all he was imagining was having Wine. Wine smiled. You can cook, she said, being happy, and Jungkook smashed his lips on her and picked her up in his arm, making Wine to automatically wrap her legs around his waist, and she started walking towards their bedroom while each other passionately. To be continued in Instagram, link is in description. Jungkook fell beside Wine and he closed his eyes, but Wine was watching him, so she snuggled more into him and placed her chin over his chest and looked at him to see his eyes are still closed, but she felt his hand getting wrapped around her waist, so you okay, Cook? She asked while cherishing his chest, making Jungkook to open his eyes and look down at Wine just to see her having a concerned face. Jungkook smiled. I'm good now, he said, as indeed he forget every problem and now was relaxed. And then he peeked her forehead and hugged her more tightly. Jungkook smiled. You are the best, Wine. I love you. Wine smiled. I love you too, but now we should have dinner and then take rest. It will make you more good and relaxed, she said, and peeked his chest. Fine, come, let's go downstairs. Wine just nodded her head, and Jungkook lastly giving a forehead, he got out from bed and Wine sat straight. You wait here, I will bring clothes for us. Okay, Jungkook walked towards the closet and come back after wearing a sweatpant and also with pair of clothes for Wine. Baby, here. He forwarded the rest to Wine, and Wine smiled at him before taking the clothes and Thank you. She got up from bed, but my leg. She painfully and fall back on bed, making Jungkook worry. Babe, are you okay? What happened? He concernedly asked Wine while holding her palms in his. Cook, I can't feel my leg, she said while biting her lips and red cheek. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I went on you. He said, being guilty, which Wine can't see her husband being sad, so. No, Cook, you weren't that. It's just my legs are sore. She said so as not to make Jungkook more concerned because he is already having a lot in his mind. Jungkook son, I will take care of you. Saying this, he himself made Wine wear the dress and let's go and have dinner. Wine just nodded her head, making Jungkook smile, seeing her cuteness, and then he carried Wine in his arm and walked outside the room. Jungkook placed Wine on one of the chair of dining table and babe you sit here I will heat the food. Okay, he peeked Wine's forehead and went to heat the food while Wine kept admiring him more like drooling over him because he was just in his sweatpants and while doing household chores he was looking too. After having dinner, Jungkook again carried Wine to bedroom and made Wine lay on bed and then he sat next to Wine and slowly started her both legs making Wine to smile wholeheartedly. Feeling good? He asked, looking up at Wine, who was already admiring him, and Wine nodded her head as yes. And Cook, yes, babe, he replied to her, still his hand busy her legs. I love you, she said, making Jungkook to smile widely. I love you more, babe. Saying this, he leaned towards Wine's leg and her both feet. Come, let's sleep. You are tired too. Saying this, she held Jungkook's arm, which were her legs, and she pulled him towards her to bed. Coming, baby. Saying this, he lay next to Wine and made her lay on his chest and started cherishing her back, making Wine sign as he still is concerned for her, and Wine just let him be. And lastly, she his Dolan and hugged him tightly and closed her eyes and Jungkook to her forehead and closed his eyes. But soon Wine felt Jungkook stop cherishing her back. And she looked up to see Jungkook already asleep. Indeed, he was very tired. Wine smiled. Sleep well, my baby, he said, and again hugged him tightly and closed her eyes to sleep. Jungkook opened his eyes when he heard the alarm ringing, so he took the phone and off the alarm and then he faced Wine just to have a wide smile on his lip after seeing Wine sleeping so peacefully in his embrace and he kept admiring her. But then he again heard his phone ringing, so he took the phone and saw it's his secretary, so he sat straight on bed and picked up the call. Yes? Sir Jack, yesterday's employee, got the file and Jungkook got relaxed as the file was very important because it has the original signature of his collaborator. Good. And he asked Mark to continue and he clearly heard Mark taking a long breath. So we aren't able to track Alex. He has played very well intelligently this time, he said, making Jungkook lose his temper and he shouted, making Wine sleep broke and she too sat straight. What the you mean by you can't track his location? He had my $1,000,000. Track him by any means. He shouted and cut the call and angrily threw his phone back on the nightstand. I will him. He grabbed his hair to control himself, but then he heard. Cook, what are you doing? Calm down, she said while taking Jungkook's hand from his hair, and she placed her hand over his chest right above his heart and cherished slowly so as to calm him down, and it worked a little as she felt his heartbeat got slow, but Jungkook's eyes were fixed on Wine's lips and he felt like again want her, so he held Wine's palm over his chest and pulled her towards him and her, and thus Wine felt his heartbeat getting normal and she let him do whatever he wants. Jungkook pulled back from and I'm sorry, baby. I know you are sore, but I badly need you, so I'm again going to you. Saying this, he again smashed his lips on her, and Wine also went with the flow, so as she wanted to take his stress away. Congratulations, Mrs. John, you are 2 weeks pregnant. The doctor said after checking the medical dress report of Wine, which she asked Wine to do after Wine said after about her illness, and thus making Wine so happy that her eyes got teary. Thank you, doctor. Saying this, she took the file from doctor's hand and walked out of the cabin. Wine sat in her car and put on her seatbelt, and I should go to Cook and tell him this news. He will be so happy to hear about you, baby, she said while cherishing her tummy, and then she happily drove off to Jungkook's company. What do you mean by you didn't complete the file? Don't you know that today is the day I asked for the file? There, Jungkook again taking his anger on his employee, which is happening from a week now. So tomorrow is the day you asked for the file, not today, he said being nervous, and that's it. Jungkook got more angry. Don't teach me, I am the boss here, so I want the file within an hour. Yes, sir. Saying this, he immediately turned around and ran to the door and opened the door hurriedly. And at the same time, wanted to open the door, making her imbalance, and she was about to fall. But lucky the employee hold her wrist from falling. But it didn't go unnoticed by Jungkook, making him more angry. Ma'am, you okay? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have opened it fastly. He apologized to Wine and take his hand back, and Wine was about to say, "It's okay, but how dare you try to hurt my wife?" Saying this, he headed towards them and was about to grab the man's collar, but Lucky Wine hugged Jungkook. Jungkook, I'm fine, calm down, and you can leave, she said to the employee, who immediately bowed his head and walked out of the cabin and closed the door. And Wine again faced Jungkook to see his red eyes were now fixed on Wine. Cook, your anger is getting worse day by day. This one day will hurt. Before she can complete, Jungkook securely wrapped his hand around Wine's and pulled her up by and smashed his lips on her, which she happily replied back. And thus Jungkook picked her up and walked towards his personal room. And Wine let him be, as right now she wanted to calm down so that she can tell the happy news to him. To be continued in Instagram, link is in description. Wine looked at Jungkook to see his red eyes have turned into a sparkling eyes and tears were visible too, and Wine understand that it's the happy tears, so Wine cup his cheek and pull him towards her and peek his lips. Wine smiled. You are going to be dad cook, she said with her red cheeks, and Jungkook surprised. Really? Wine just nodded her head as yes, and Jungkook started her whole face in happiness. Oh my god, thank you so much, baby. I love you, Wine, he said while still her whole face. Wine smiled, I love you more. And then suddenly Jungkook stopped her when he realized he wasn't angry anymore, as by hearing the news of him going to be dad, and all his anger flew away. And what happened, Cook? She asked him as he seemed to be deep in thought, but then he again realized something. Baby, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have gone. Come, let's go to hospital, he said being concerned, and he was about to get up from Wine, but Wine held his wrist and Wine smiled. I'm fine, Cook. You can continue. You are still, she said as she can feel his. You sure? He asked, and Wine gave an assured smile to him before pulling him into a passionate, and thus Jungkook again started with her. Wine slept after having their passionate time as she was tired from all the checkup, and then her husband too. But Jungkook was awake and cherishing Wine's invisible baby bump, while his eyes were lovingly admiring Wine's sleeping figure. But then his attention went to his ringing phone, and he took the phone. Yes, Mark, he whispered so as not to wake up his sleeping beauty. So we got Alex and also R, he said, making Jungkook shrimp. Get him in my basement. Jungkook cut the call and faced Wine, who was still sleeping. Jungkook smiled. You are my everything, babe. He Wine's forehead, and then he leaned to her tummy and Dada loves you so much, my lucky charm, he said to the baby and Wine's tummy. And again he lay properly next to Wine and hugged her warmly and closed his eyes to take a nap. Jungkook fell beside Wine, who has her eyes closed, and she was taking long breath, and Jungkook was admiring her, but then he snuggled more close to her and his hand automatically went to her 8 months old baby bump, and he cherished it lovingly, making Wine to face him. You satisfied? Yes, Cook, more than satisfied. Saying this, she peeked his lip. Wine smiled. You're the best, Cook. She again peeked his lips, making Jungkook chuckle. Fine, let's get again ready. That all might be waiting for us. Wine nodded her head and Jungkook carried her out of the bed to again get ready for the party to which they are already late. Everyone were enjoying the party, but Jungkook's eyes were fixed on his queen, who was looking breathtaking in her black gown with her baby bump, and Wine was busy talking with his mom and other ladies. But stop, my daughter-in-law. Jungkook turned back to see his dad, making Jungkook chuckle on hearing his dad. Appa, what can I do when you got a daughter-in-law? He said while sipping his drink. But then his eyes turned red in anger when he saw a man eye Wine. So he placed his drink aside and walked towards the man, and Jungkook's dad frowned watching him, and soon he understood what's gonna happen, and he let Jungkook do whatever he wants. After all, he is the ex-mafia king who knows how to protect their queen from such people. Enjoying, he coldly asked the man, thinking he will turn back and see with whom he is messing. But no, his eyes were still fixed on Wine. Yes, she is so, he said, making Jungkook to fist his palm in anger. I need her for tonight. I don't care she is pregnant or. Before he can complete, Jungkook heard him from behind, making the man to scream loud, and the party paused and everyone's attention went to them, including Wine too, who got all numb on her place as she is seeing Jungkook angry again after a whole 8 months. How dare you I, my woman, I will right here and now. Saying this, the man, more tight, and he took his. Oh God, wine, take him from here. There are lots of media and all. It will be a problem for him, she said, making wine to come to reality, and she immediately walked to Jungkook. Cook, stop, we need to leave, she said while holding Jungkook's hand and started pulling him. And Jungkook just closed his eyes, knowing he can't do anything now. So he let Wine drag him, but he signaled Mark to take the man in basement. What was that, Cook? She asked him after getting in one of the hotel room. He was you, and he said that. Jungkook stopped when the man's word came to his mind, making him more anger. And Wine, why you stop me? I would have him. Come, let's get you home. I need to handle that before Jungkook can complete. Wine him, and she took his both palm and placed it on her baby bump, where she can feel the baby immediately kicked after feeling his dad's touch. And Wine smiled in half between the knowing Jungkook is calming down as the baby become Jungkook. Jungkook pulled back from the and cupped Wine's both cheeks and placed his forehead on her. You very well know how to calm me, right, Mrs. John? Yes, Mr. John, she playfully said, making Jungkook chuckle. Jungkook smiled. I love you, baby. Wine smiled. We love you more. And thus Jungkook again softly placed his lips on her, and thus both again started each other softly and passionately, showing how much they both love each other. And Jungkook's one hand went to her baby bump, again feeling his baby's kick, and Wine kept her one palm over Jungkook's hand, feeling her baby move and kick more, and they both smiled while continuing each other. The end. Thanks for watching. Bye.